Today I'm going to be showing you how to DIY repair these OBS for door panels. You can do this to a bunch of different applications, but I mess with a lot of these trucks, so I'm going to show you a easy way where if you want to do this at home in your own shop or do whatever, a good strong repair you can do that will last hopefully a good long while. You can see these door panels are in decent shape, but still pretty rough, which is typical for most of them. First thing you will really want to do is clean all the gunk out of them, because I don't think I've ever got a set of these door panels that didn't have some kind of trash or treasure hidden somewhere in it. And then we're going to have to de-trim this light pocket out of here, which you just take a clip tool, pry on the front side of it, comes right off. We're going to leave the insert in there and tape that up. So we're going to take some of this purple powder here. It's a pretty strong degreaser. You can dilute it if you want. And we're going to hose down the entire door panel and scrub these things and get all these years of filth and grime out of the plastic, out of that carpet. Alright, now we got all these door panels cleaned up. We're going to flip them over here, and we're going to remove both of these mesh screens that are on the vent pocket and then the speaker. They just peel right off. Usually they're halfway hanging off, and we'll reinstall these later on after we fix and repair these door panels. You're going to want to get as much of that glue tape residue off as you can. It doesn't have to be every bit of it, but you don't want any loose pieces flying around. Now we're going to attempt to remove these upper trim pieces. They're usually either black or the silver, and they just have metal tabs that come through the door panel itself all along the backside here. Some of them are hidden behind the sound deadener, and you'll just need to get a clip tool or a pair of needle nose pliers, and you're going to want to straighten these tabs out in order to remove the trim. And with all those tabs removed, you can see the piece just comes right out, no effort, no prying or anything of that sort. And you can choose if you want to re-wrap these pieces or swap them out for a better pair, because they usually show a lot of wear over time. You could choose to do that. This little lock cylinder hole through the door panel has a black grommet that just pops right out. You might need a clip tool to remove that. Usually you can just apply pressure on the back side. Alright, so on this door panel there is a crack along the front top edge all the way through the panel, and we're going to use this Eastwood hot staple kit, and we're going to put a handful of staples in here to hold the panel back into its original shape and give it some structural support before we put an epoxy on the back side of this repair. Typically I usually hold the trigger until you can see that the metal prong has got up to temperature, and then press it into the plastic, which you don't want to press it too far to where it will protrude outside of the front of the panel. You want to get somewhere in the middle, and then I usually give it a counterclockwise twist as it's cooling down, and then remove the tool, and the staple should stay in the panel. Once all those are in and you have clipped the back sides of the staples, you want to take this die grinder here, and you're going to want to pretty much rough up all the nooks and crannies and V out this channel as much as you can. And then once we've done that, take some 80 grit or 120 grit sandpaper, and you're going to want to sand all around that area and bring it farther out from the staples. And this is a Smart brand panel bond plastic bonding adhesive, and you're going to want to purge out a couple inches of this every time you use it, just because that first little bit of mixture isn't 100% right and it might not dry correctly. And you can see here we're going to have to work pretty fast since the set time is just a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and apply a liberal amount of this on the back side, and I have a body spreader which I've cut down to make it a little more manageable to use, and we're going to spread out this epoxy and make sure that we have a nice even layer, no gaps, no air bubbles, nothing funky, and take it just a little ways past to where you've sanded. Alright, so the front side repair is going to be similar to the back. We're going to V out this crack with a die grinder, and then you're going to sand with 80 grit or 120 grit little ways out from either side of this crack, and make sure to clean and prep the surface pretty well so you have good adhesion for this panel bond adhesive. This is a different brand we're going to use on the top. It bites better and has a little more flexibility to it for this outer layer. So we're just going to put not an incredible amount, but just enough to fill that ridge that we've cut down through there, and then take a piece of tape and you can press down and not press all of the material out, but just lightly press it in so you have good coverage all the way through. And we'll let this sit and dry for about 15-20 minutes, and you can peel that tape off. And this material is sandable, so we'll sand this with 120 grit and take it up to 220, 320, smooth it out. After we got it all sanded, we're going to take a little bit of spray bomb primer here and just put a couple medium coats on here, and I'm going to use the tape method to get a little bit of texture in this. Right when it's wet, if you get a little bit of tape and kind of dab it, it'll give it a little bit of that texture to resemble kind of the factory finish. That way it's not a completely smooth area when the rest of the door panel has texture. If you want to do, there's better methods to do this. You can take some of that epoxy and make a template of the factory finish by squirting a little spot of it on a flat surface, and that'll replicate the factory finish, and you can use that. But the tape method actually works fairly decent for home repair if you're going to be doing it yourself. And you might do 2, 3, 4 different coats, depending. You want to get a decent coverage and get a decent amount of texture in it. After your primer, everything's done set up and dried for a while. This is actually the next evening. I'm going to take and I'm going to scuff these entire door panels down with scuff stuff, which will help clean a lot of the door panel, and also sand it with enough abrasion that we can get good adhesion to the panel itself when putting more paint on top of them. You can see here I got 2 sets, and I'm doing all 4 of them. I had minor repairs on the other, and They're all going back this factory granite gray. And I'm going to mix everything off of our mixing system here. I got one of the factory paint codes for that granite gray and put it in our system, which gives us the formula we need to get the correct color. You should be able to have, other automotive shops might be able to mix up this stuff for you and give you your own color to spray at home or something in an aerosol can. And we're going to go with just a light coat on all of these passes, but the first pass we're going to go around, I'm just putting a light coat over top of the repairs directly and then going over top of the entirety of the panel. And you can see here by where I had stuff masked up, you're just putting very light coats on here. You do not want to put this stuff on heavy or really wet. It's going back the same color, so it takes very little material to get them all back to a uniform color. And you can see this is after final coat. It has a little more sheen in it than I would like, which, depending how much binder I put in it, depends on really what my sheen ends up resulting in. So next ones I'll definitely have to add a little bit more binder. It's a 25 to 40% mix to your overall paint, but they do dull down a little bit as they dry. Alright, so this is the next day after everything's had a good long while to sit and dry, and we're going to reglue on these fabric covers for the speakers and for the pressure vent on the bottom of the door. And I'm just taking some regular emblem glue. There's really no right or wrong glue you can use. It doesn't take much to really hold these on. And I'm just going to go around the whole perimeter of this and then lay the fabric on, and make sure run your finger around and press that fabric into the glue so it has a good bite all the way around. And anywhere where your sound deadener has pulled loose, you might need to put a little spot there to re-glue it in place, just so it's not hanging down or it's not going to be in the way of reinstalling the door panel. So here's the finished product with the first set of door panels, and you can see that they've turned out pretty good. Some of that shine is kind of dulled back, which is good, and this repair here is very minute. It's not perfect, and this is not a perfect repair, but this is a repair that, hopefully someone watching, if you want to do something at home to make your old door panels look a little bit better, this would be something that would suit you. You can see on your armrest there's still a lot of flexibility in the material, and they turned out pretty decent. Everything's nice and uniform as it should be. That's all for this video, and again, thanks for watching.